One of the things that I've learned on the Will James Trail is that I can't afford to neglect any information that comes my way. So when I found out that Dwayne had the Christmas card in his hands, I really wanted to know everything about it. Of course, at first I thought naively that it was an original drawing, but I should have known, and I had forgotten that Will James had the habit of making a special drawing for the holidays and have it printed, leaving a space to write the name of each individual to who he would send it. But nevertheless, that didn't make it less interesting. I wanted to know what was the story behind that Christmas card.
It's a card that was given to my grandmother by Will James. She cooked on his ranch, and my dad was the only son that had sons, so it was given to him by my grandmother, and somehow I ended up with it. I'm the youngest son, so I never really expected to get it, but I did. So
She had cooked for a hotel in Billings.
she would cook out during the summer during the roundup, and then in the winter she would cook in the restaurant in Billings.
It's a fairly well-known fact that Will James was an original and with eccentric choices. One of them was that he never wanted to have any running water at the Rocking Hour Ranch, insisting that the guests would go and wash into the creek. This is something that Alice didn't particularly enjoy, so the couple often had to go downtown Billings at the hotel to take a bath, and this is probably where they discovered Dwayne's grandmother's cooking talent.
She was a fantastic cook.
Maybe they just cared about her cooking because she was a really good cook. Want to keep her happy. Well, I know that Dad would go out to the ranch and ride.
You know, that was something that my husband talked about fairly often, going out to the ranch and riding on horses out on Will James's ranch. Oh. He must have been a very likable person. I mean, and to, you know, pay attention to a 13 or 14-year-old.
Well, this threat doesn't come to me as a surprise, since it's a fairly well-known fact that Will James took particular care of young people. He wrote several books for them, and he was extremely generous with his time with them, explaining things and giving autographs and whatever. He did care very much about young people.
The only book that I know of is the one that we have here, Smokey. That's the only book I've ever seen by Will James.
The fact that Dwayne's father preserved and handed down this Christmas card and the Smokey book to his son makes it quite obvious that Will James had a tremendous impact on his life, like he did for so many other people around the world.
Well, you know, my husband he was a boy, and then he liked the ranch, and I guess he liked Will James.